Hello, Capricorn, and welcome to your January 2020 reading. It's great to see you. Little Apollo woke up, and so I thought I would bring him in at the very beginning here just to say hello. It's been really nice chatting with everyone right before we went live here on the feed. I just want to mention that every single time that I do one of these readings, I usually will show up about half an hour at least early. This is when I meditate, select the deck of cards that I'm going to use, and really prepare for the reading. So whenever you want to kind of come in a little bit early, I'll say hello if I can. And again, Apollo is now on his bed here, chilling out. He'll be here in the background with us today. So, but yes, if you ever can kind of come a little bit early, if I'm here, I'll say hi. And that's really the best time for me to be able to interact with you. Because during the reading, one thing that probably differentiates me from a lot of other intuitives is I'm not going to go back and forth and read the chat because it takes me out of my channel a bit. So I'll have a moderator that'll be joining in a little bit here that will help, Ryan. And if you have any questions, he'll be able to kind of answer those. But in the meantime, we can kind of kick things off here and I'll give you an expectation of what's going on today. As you can see, this is live. I'm really enjoying the format change. I hope you guys are as well. I mean, in fact, it really is the old format, but there's just a little bit more dynamic energy that's coming through, as one of you said, and it's a chance for me to do it fluidly. And for me, that's really intuitive, and that honors my sort of connection to spirit, and it helps me get away from the tendency to want to be perfect. And I think that that's also a good lesson for all of us. We have to be present. We have to work with the energy that we have and kind of move forward. So I think this is going to be helpful. It also approximates a one-on-one with me as well. So let's talk a little bit about today. First of all, we're down to our last three readings. So if you join me again on Saturday and Sunday, that's going to wrap it up. That'll be Aquarius and Pisces. So really excited to do those two because that's going to be the last ones for the year. And we're way ahead of schedule, which is something that I really, really love. I'm able to get this to you before the holiday season. And I'm going to do the same schedule in January. So shortly after I post all of these replays on my website, I will be posting the schedule for January. So you'll have that. And that's going to be all of the February readings. So we'll always be a month ahead, which is something I know a lot of you have wanted. And with the new live format, we'll finally be able to do that. So I'm super excited that I found a way that kind of worked for both of us. It's all about change. And I was saying that right before we got started. 2020 is about new foundations, and I wanted to build a firmer foundation when it came to the scheduling. Quick note that you can always use these readings for your sun, your rising, and your moon sign. So if you know all of those parts of your chart, you can cross-watch. And if you want to watch on behalf of someone that you care about, feel free to do that. Something unique here in chat, or I should say live chat, is that if you like what you see, there's a way to immediately sort of give back, and that's through stickers and also super chat. Feel free to do that. At the very end, when I'm all finished, I will acknowledge anyone that's been kind enough to share a little bit of their love, and I will also kind of, again, acknowledge it at that point. There's other ways that you can do this, which is to become a patron or to join me on social media, to share this, even to book an appointment. I'll go into all of that at the end, but let's talk about here and now right now. But one thing I'd like to say is welcome back to everybody who's been with me for the past few years. If you're brand new, also here's the overview for how I organize the reading. I always start with channeled information. We'll get to that in just a second. That's when I select cards and then just share what comes through intuitively before I even pull the Celtic cross. After that, I'll pull the Celtic cross and then I move into health, wealth, love, and destiny. Because this is a little bit special and we have the ability to connect and to support each other here. I'll also be doing a meditation, and right before that, I'm going to expand the forecast to look at the 4 quarters of 2020. So you're getting basically a 2020 overview as well as a January reading as well. So really exciting. Okay, I'm going to take off this sweatshirt because whenever I start reading, I can feel an increase in my own sort of heat. So that's good. It shows me that the channel's open and we're ready to begin. So as I was starting to meditate on your sign this month, the image that came to me was a finish line, and I could see you moving through the finish line. And after that, what I saw associated with this was some people questioning you. And I think the important thing for you is to know that you've basically earned this chance to move forward, but there's going to be either a situation where it's like a gatekeeper or a kind of asking you, are you sure you want to do this? It can either literally be that, a checkpoint, if you will, or it's sort of a universal checkpoint, or your own sort of heart saying, am I ready to go to the next level? What I put in my automatic writing is sort of a complement to this, which was to do all the preparation necessary. I told you about me showing up before the reading. I need time before clicking go live. I have to know what I'm going to be doing before I can do that. I think for many of us, before we make a decision, buying a house, going to school, asking someone out, whatever it is, we have to really kind of get in the right headspace. So a lot of what you'll be doing in January and even the couple weeks before then, since many of you are watching me here in December, is to figure out, okay, this is what I want to do. This is how I'm going to do it. And then once it happens, there'll even be an additional checkpoint to think, are you sure that this is what you wanted? And the only thing that you have to kind of do is accept that opportunity and say, yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. And once that happens, then you can kind of move forward with a sense of certainty, feeling like this is okay. Sometimes when we're in a sort of work environment or even just trying to get noticed, this could be trying to like find a job, or if you're trying to somehow get something of yours seen by another person, they may kind of check in with you just to sort of see, do you think you're the right person for the job, for the situation, etc. So I think the biggest thing for you is that certainty, that confidence internally. That's going to lock in what I already see as an opportunity that wants to come through, or some sort of accomplishment that wants to happen. So as we look at the cards here in a moment, I'll see if there's any clarity on where some of you might be hesitating or when this moment might come through. Otherwise, just put that in the back of your mind and be aware of that sort of energy that you can walk through and think, okay, I'm ready for this. I still want this. And I'm going to put that out to everyone around me so that I'm not somehow kind of pulling back from this great thing that's unfolding. Okay, let's go ahead now and take a look at the cards. As you know, I like to remain quiet at this point. I'm going to lay out a full Celtic cross plus all of the additional cards that I use for the expanded forecast. But after I shuffle everything, I will then connect with you and tell you kind of how this will break down for all of the different points in the month, the high points, the challenges, and everything in between. Okay, thanks. All right, thank you for waiting. And yeah, I saw a comment. This is the Sun and Moon deck. I will be updating all of the decks that I'm using on my website. It's been a while since I've done that. Most of the tarot decks are up to date, but I know that a lot of you ask about my Oracle decks. So keep an eye. I'll do that in January. It's going to take me some time because I have a lot of decks. So as I get that finished, I'll pass it on to my moderator, and he can help kind of push that out here when we are, when I finally have that finished. But let's get into your reading here. So yeah, Gazelle, this is your catalyst card for the month of January. And the way the catalyst works, for many of you that join me from month to month, this is the way that you can connect to the highest energy, to stay in sort of the flow of the month, and also to kind of avoid getting held back by yourself in any way. So a gazelle is very fast moving. And this goes along with that race metaphor that I was seeing, or the symbol in my meditation. And I feel like for many of you, it's really about keeping up the pace and knowing when to maybe sprint through the month. There's going to be certain periods where There's a lot to go through. And here's the thing though, Gazelle can keep up. And I feel like you have the ability to do it. It's just about some choices, smart choices that will bring you into the right situation at the right time. And for many of you, it's less about, are you prepared? It's more sort of, are you willing to kind of take that risk as well? So yeah, just keep the pacing this month. I think you're going to be okay. And as we look at some of the other cards here in a moment, I'll let you know maybe when the sprint happens, okay? But I love the Gazelle. The center card is Magician, and the Magician is reversed. Now, for me, this is one of my favorite cards because the Magician is all about manifestation and also shows a highly capable person that can manage any challenge that is in front of them. Usually you will see someone that has one of every suit, all the different elements, all of the basically requisite things that you need to achieve success. I like the very cosmic, almost shaman-like nature of this Magician. And what you see here is that as you start to create a sort of a battle plan and figure out what it is that you want to do, your thoughts very much are manifesting a reality. And so I want you to stay in a very positive space this month and think, I can, I will, that this is going to happen. And that's going to be very, very integral to your success. What I'm seeing also with this one is kind of like a constellation or a roadmap. So going back into what I mentioned earlier, prepare. I think it's going to be super important that whatever it is that you want to do, that you kind of have the Two of Wands energy to it, which is being able to sort of see it and feel it and really own what that's going to be before you kind of just wing it. This isn't a month for winging it. The more homework, preparation, and even just meditation that you can do, because Two of Wands is meditation, then the better you will be. Any successful public speaker or even business person, they try things out a little bit. Sometimes there's test groups. Sometimes they'll just be talking to themselves if it's a public speech. You always have to have a little feeling for how it's going to go before you go there. So I think this is not the month to just go straight into the energy of the Fool. He's coming. He's at the midpoint. But in order to avoid sort of a trip or a fall or missing something, it's about preparing so that when the Fool energy comes, it's really just about taking the leap and thinking, I've got it now. So homework first, then take the risk. We have the Prince of Pentacles right on top of that. And this is all about movement. Prince is Knight. And so you really want to kind of have a close hold, and I would also say focus on your money when it comes to January. So look at your budget, look at your calendar as well, because when I look at Pentacles, it can just be about the resource of time, and figure out, how is this going to map out? I think this is what's going to be very important with the Gazelle card that we saw. You need to be ready and willing to take those sprints, but you can't sprint the whole month. So if you're constantly going and going and going, you will kind of run out of energy. So punctuated moments where you're going to really go on all octaves, that's what you want to kind of figure out where those sprints are. And I think that's going to be key. I like that I see a prince here. Some of you are going to get a new job, or you might get a chance for a raise, or there's something that you see in your life where you think that's what I want, and you're going to go after it. It can be a card of seizing something. So I definitely get a feel of taking the initiative. Knights are not a sort of sedentary or kind of passive energy. So this is going to require movement on your part. So if you want the job, if you want the opportunity, if you want to ask someone out, this is about you going for it. You have what it takes to do it. And you can be creative about it. The Magician reversed is actually saying, shake things up a little bit. Look at it from a different perspective, and don't limit yourself. Do focus, however. Magician reverse can sometimes be pulled into too many directions. So focus, trust yourself, and try something unusual, and I think you'll have a really good outcome. We have the Princess of Wands in reverse when we look at the deep past. So this can be about, for some of you, just getting into your headspace too much and second guessing yourself. And also maybe using some of this great organizational energy that Capricorn is known for. You're fantastic with business. You're fantastic with figuring out how to make things work like a fine oiled machine. Use this on your life. In more than one sign, I've seen one of the court cards in Wands in the reverse in the deep past. So the Princess of Wands is really saying, when it comes to sending and receiving messages and figuring out what you want, like, just make sure that you know how to communicate well. And the more your life is sort of organized, the easier that's going to be Don't try to kind of step in and fix someone else or organize someone else. It's not going to be important this month. It's really about staying in your lane. If we're kind of imagining swimming or racing, because we got the gazelle card, I think that's the key thing. If you start to get in other people's lanes, you're cutting them off, you're getting off track, you're going to take more time. And that's kind of the visual that I'm getting with the Princess of Wands. The other thing for you is to try to keep a very open mind and to not lose track of what your sort of purpose is as well. A lot of you will ask me about love. Sometimes I see complaints. I only address it if it comes through organically on this. I think for the February readings, I'll actually do a special focus. Here I did like the 2020. I'll do love in the February readings. But guess what? You actually have love and relationships coming through right here in the recent past, the Two of Cups. So what I'm seeing for many of you is that it's a great time to also focus on key partnerships in your life, especially love. This is absolutely related to love. So if you've been single and looking, this is a period where it can come in, but the challenge for you is, how do I find a way to balance this with all the other opportunities that are going on in my life? So busy with work and possibly also socially busy or busy with love as well. So this is going to be the trade-off. But what I'm also seeing for some of you is that through your activities, through all of these events going on in your life, you might also meet someone. So make sure that you're keeping an open eye when it comes to everything that's going on in your life. So that looks exciting for many of you. By the way, I see some comment spamming. Please don't do that. It's distracting to me and to others as well. Thank you. Anyway, I'm really excited about that. If you're in a relationship, it's going to be a good time to ground yourself, because right on top of this, we have the Prince of Pentacles card, which shows that there can be development and growth going on. So if you're in a relationship, you can deepen it. You might also find that the two of you have a chance to help one another when it comes to work or school or some sort of enrichment opportunity. Maybe you're going to do something together. If you're single, happy, and not looking for anybody, then the Two of Cups shows that you have very attractive energy that you can use to pull in customers, new opportunities, and it's a great thing to have even if you don't want to date someone. So all of that looks really, really great. Okay, Eight of Wands in the crowning position. This is your opportunity to stay busy, to work your magic. Look at her. She actually has the energy of the magician there with the rainbow, which is awesome. So I think that if any of you have your own business, or if you're trying to find a sense of sort of belonging and a connection to people in your life, the Eight of Wands tells me that you will have that. You're probably going to have more things going on your social calendar than you're used to, in your corporate sort of diary or basically your schedule. And for those of you that are trying to find customers, the same thing. Lots and lots of activity this month. So be discerning. Make sure you can keep your commitments. And this is why I was talking earlier about sort of staying in your lane. Don't get too pulled in any particular direction, because you could lose some of that great momentum that's building. And that's what we see here, that it's starting to pick up. It's a fast-paced month, so I'm really happy with that. Now at the midpoint, we have the Fool here, and the Fool is reversed. So with the Fool reversed is that kind of question that I had seen in the channeled message, which is, am I ready for the change? Is this okay? Am I the right one? You have to believe in yourself and in the changes that are happening in order for them to kind of fully take root. And so I think for many of you, there's this need to sort of understand that if you've worked really hard, and it looks like you have, then everything that's coming your way is absolutely a direct result of that. It's just the universe reciprocating that hard work. So I like what I'm seeing with the Fool. It does show that for some of you, though, there might be a necessary piece that you have to take, sort of like sacrificing something, a little bit of your free time. Maybe there's some travel that's coming through. You might have a move as well. And there's a choice associated with this. Do I want to do this? Is this going to be worth the payoff for me? And we'll look at that. I do think it will be for many of you, because in the Ego card, we have Three of Wands. And this is a unique Three of Wands. Normally, you'll see someone with the wands kind of in the ground, and they're looking out at things coming through, boats coming in to the harbor, which basically is showing that the hard work that you've done is already starting to manifest. And you can even see sort of the future with that too. Like there's more good things to come. With this, it's actually more about juggling all of the different opportunities in front of you. You may not be able to kind of embrace each and every one. So there's a prioritization that has to happen over the course of January as well. So don't be afraid to, instead of saying no, it might mean, it could be something more like not now, or how about next month, or let's try it this way, approaching something from a much different angle. Now, in relationships, this also means that there could be some competing interests. So we see that you already have harmonious relationship energy here, but that there's a lot going on. And for some of you, this could equate to a misstep or a misfire. We even see this in the environment when it comes to an argument or a misunderstanding. So try to see things from your partner's perspective, your friend's perspective, and coworkers as well, and realize that it's not about win or lose. It's this month, you'll do a little bit, they'll do a little bit. There'll be a way to get it all done. I think it is really multitasking, which is one of the key energies of the magician. When he's in reverse, though, it can be sometimes thrown off balance, and that's what we're seeing here too. So I think what would be really effective as we're kind of looking at all of these cards this month is to find a way to keep a good meditation sort of schedule over this month. And if there's someone that you trust, a friend, a counselor, keep a sort of grounding and communication with them to make sure that you don't lose your own perspective. I think it's important to know who you are and not to give away power when it comes to sort of decision making. But I think sometimes it's good just to bounce ideas off a friend, and they might be able to pull you back into your lane, as I was talking about. This month, the only thing that I see as problematic, we have all these really positive cards. The Magician is amazing. The Two of Cups is amazing. The Three of Wands is amazing. Now, when we go into opportunities, which can be hopes and fears and all of the sort of ambiguous energy of the month, we have Two of Swords. This can be indecision. This can be doubt. This can be hesitation. And so with the Two of Swords, the more you know what you want, the more other people will trust you. And the easier it's going to be to accomplish your goals, because you're going to be a magnet drawing in the sort of right path to take. The Two of Swords oftentimes indicates 2 or 3 opportunities in front of you without a very, very clear sort of win. So what's going to be important for you is what is best on a heart and soul level. And sometimes you can overthink the next step in your life. It could be proposing marriage. It could be quitting a job, or like I said, starting a company, something big. We can, sit and think ad nauseum about, can I, should I, when should this happen? Did I do the right thing? The Two of Swords is sometimes a paralyzing energy. And the key thing that you want to do here is to embrace what we see here, which is take a risk. A risk is necessary. Three of Wands. There is going to be something positive panning out from this risk. The Magician. Think outside of the box and really try to manifest, try to create a roadmap. You and you alone can really be the one that is seeing that future and going towards it. So don't hesitate too much. I felt really good about your energy going into the reading. I still do. And I think that the key thing for you is to just kind of pick that path and go forward. All right, so I'm going to ban this user really quickly, and then we'll get back into this. So hold on a second. Hide user from this. Okay, thank you so much. Sorry, that was very distracting. All right, so let's move along to your outcome, which is the Ten of Swords. So with the Ten of Swords here, it's reversed, which is showing me that many of you are actually in a place where you're ready to walk away from situations where it felt like it was no win. And that was attached to the Two of Swords. So I think that with the Ten of Swords and the Two of Swords, the message here is, if there's a person, place, or thing, or even a work environment in your life right now where it feels like you're constantly being put in a situation where you're trying to defend yourself, or that people don't understand you, they can't see, it's like a no-win situation. This is where it's absolutely the time and the place to get out of it. Look at this particular Fool card. You actually see like there's kind of a moat around them. They need to get away from that. They're going to take a leap of faith and get out of that. So for those of you that are surrounded by something that feels toxic, the same way I got rid of that toxicity there, you have to kind of push it away and think it's time to move on. And with the same energy that I just did there, you're not going to spend a lot of time focusing on someone that only brings negative energy into something. You move on, you move forward. Now with the Ten of Swords, there are also health implications. So I want you to take care of yourselves this month. There's so much positive stuff, but there's a lot going on. The Eight of Wands energy is showing that kind of race that we see happening that's also accentuated with the gazelle. So some of you might kind of turn to things like caffeine or might be burning the candles at both ends where you're staying up really late and not basically recharging your battery the way you need to. So make sure that you're getting adequate rest, adequate sleep, and I should say also diet and exercise. It needs to all sort of be part of the big package of success, because if you are sacrificing overall well-being to accomplish something, then it's not worth the trade-off. Some of you might also be at a point where you're seeing an improvement, because Ten of Swords reverse can be that you're walking away from something painful. So if you've been dealing with chronic pain or fatigue, and maybe you listen to this a little bit early and start to take care of yourself, this can be averted. This is saying that you're going to choose health, and you're going to just basically do a little bit of the juggling that we see here. I think it's all about smart choices in where and how often you sort of allocate your energy and your time. Hopefully that makes sense. With respect to new love coming into your life, since we saw the Two of Cups, I want to hit on this before we expand the forecast. I see, let's see, we have both the Prince of Pentacles and the Princess of Wands. So we have strong earth energy and we have strong fire energy. And what I'm seeing with the Princess of Wands, for some of you, there could be a person that's really, really headstrong that you meet with. And I think that the way that you can kind of break through this energy is playfulness. And whether that's you or the other person, there is a sort of suggestion here with whatever partnership you have this month to try to take it out of the context of what it always is. So if it's a work relationship and you're trying to get to know the person, try to hang out on the weekend, or try to do something on a lunch break and not talk business. If it's your partner and you have a family, try not to make it about school, planning for this, planning for that. Try to just be there for your partner. Same thing with a family member. Don't get involved in family drama. Just make this about an intimate connection with the two of you and really just have some fun. I think it would be great to do something playful, enjoyable, a movie, just time together. This is going to create that firm foundation that can also alleviate potential arguments that could be down the line. Okay, that's why I wanted to kind of connect relationships with the Ten of Swords. I think Ten of Swords can be an avoidable card. It's sometimes deciding to just close your mouth and not say everything that's coming through. And it's really, and it's an important lesson for all of us sometimes. Pick and choose the arguments. All right, let's expand the forecast. We're going to look at health, love, and destiny. Your health card this month is beautiful. This is a new deck and I haven't used it before, and I really love the rainbow that's coming through on this. To me, the card was reversed, but I want to turn it upright for a second. This reminds me a lot of what I saw here in the Eight of Wands, because we have the rainbow as well, and also in the Magician because it's a card of creation. So with health, you can create anything you want. This is really about trying to get into the joy of being creative, of kind of like brainstorming and going down that road. The Fool energy is in this as well. So if you feel like you've been in a place in your life where people have been putting blocks around you, this is about having some fun and thinking, I'm not limited by that. That's their own lack of imagination. I'm going to own my internal sort of creativity and find a way around that. It's also about having fun. So I think it's essential for many of you to find a way to get out of your routine. The Two of Cups card is about spending time with those that you love. The Fool card is about getting outside. So if you spend a lot of time behind a computer or stuck in a room without windows, or just in a place where you're not connecting with life, with people, with joy, that's going to be an essential piece to avoiding this fatigue and sometimes this tendency to kind of get ornery, because the Ten of Swords can actually be a reaction to not taking care of yourself. So you just lose your temper because you aren't rested, because you've been around people too much, because you haven't changed up that routine. So I think that's the main thing with the health card this month. Let me look really quickly and see if there's anything else. There are a couple of other things that I want to highlight, actually. Depending on the illustration of the Fool or sometimes the Tower, I would say that particularly with this one, you want to watch where you're walking. So there's a chance to sometimes have a trip or a fall. And in modern times, like, it didn't exist when they made the cards, but I think this is due to not paying attention. So whether you're talking on the phone, looking at the phone, or maybe even you're just juggling a lot of things. Sometimes when I'm walking my dog and trying to do something else, I'm not looking forward. So just keep an awareness to what's going on around you to avoid some sort of a misstep or bumping into somebody, because I feel like that could happen for a few of you. Ten of Swords is saying if anything's going on in your body, a chronic pain or fatigue, go to the doctor. Get it looked at. It's important. You've got to honor that. just to make sure that if it's small, you can take care of it before it gets big. If it's nothing, you can just kind of alleviate that sort of fear that you might have. And yeah, you always should check things out. Magician reversed also is saying moderate. So we're coming out of a season. I mean, many of you will be watching this right before New Year's and the holidays, but if you go overboard in the holidays, just take care of yourself and eat and drink a little bit more moderately and wisely when it comes to January. All right, so that wraps up health. Let's move along to wealth. I mentioned back at the beginning that you would need to prepare and then move forward with that certainty. So we have a really interesting card here that has like 3 layers of meanings. So the first one, it's just the word no, but for me, this can mean that the power of the word no. So for some of you, when we're looking at wealth, it's about saying, I don't want to do this, or simply using the word no to make sure that you don't overextend yourself, because we see great opportunity here, but the potential to go too far. So if everybody needs and wants your energy, you can't say yes to everyone. It will equate to dissatisfaction, failing at kind of completing all of this, and possibly sickness. So no is a good thing. It's going to give you those personal boundaries that you need to be healthy. It's also kind of the reverse here, which is to not put too much energy into negative thought or sort of like manifestation, because if you think I can't do it, then you won't do it. So use no to create boundaries so that you're not overextending yourself. Release the sort of no in your head when it comes to, am I okay? Is this all right? Will I be able to manifest? That needs to be a yes. So the energy of no can be used effectively, but if you keep kind of focusing on critical thought too much, then it brings you into sort of a self-fulfilling prophecy when it comes to that. The other thing for many of you is when we look at the no, it's the toxicity that might be existing in a workplace or from a mentor or a boss or something. If that no energy is around them, then it's time to move on. We've got the Fool here. And please, please, please try to avoid trying to engage with someone like that. You can't win sometimes when that happens. So anyway, I feel like you can navigate this. There's some good energy with that and also some things to be mindful of. I want to thank Maria Margarita for stepping in today and moderating. She's doing a great job. So thank you, Maria. All right, so now we're going to look at we looked at health and wealth. Let's look at love now. Love is all about what you're trying to bring to all relationships. It's not just like the people that you're romantically involved with. I think love is the currency of the universe. So you're going to be using that with coworkers, with your family members, and also with intimate relationships. We have you are understood. And this cuts both ways, basically. You want to know that you want to feel that sense of being understood, and you also want to extend that to others. And leading by example, I think, is a great way to kind of show people what you expect in return. So you might be doing more listening this month in all relationships. And I think that's going to help also avoid this. Because if you can find a way to understand what is provoking someone, what's causing a challenge in a situation, then you're less likely to go to the negative energy and maybe sort of put them in a position where, or the two of you are not going to be in a position where you're sparring. You just realize it's not worth that. It's not worth that investment. The other thing for you, though, is if you're not feeling like you're supported, because we have the Fool, you can move on as well. So whatever that is, whether it's work, whether it's love, whether it's family, separation, distance might be necessary. We're not getting a full sort of justice reverse energy, which would be like divorce and estrangement. We're just getting space, moving away from it and deciding not to engage. I think that's going to be key. But remember what we see here at the center, the Magician. I feel like if you put out that energy of understanding others and tell them what you need, because sometimes people need to know what they need to do to sort of be successful partners with you, then you're going to attract that in kind. So I feel like you'll be able to navigate that. As we look at your Destiny card, which is not set in stone, this is really what you're calling in. So you can decide to embrace this or you can move on. We have the Faith card. And this card is reversed, which is kind of a warning against lack of faith. So I would say the most important thing you can have this month is a certainty and a sort of sense of confidence. Self-worth equals net worth. And also faith in others is a valuable tool in inspiring improvement and growth within them. So a key example of this, I'll even use something that happened in my life. When I was younger, I had some challenges in a school that I was at, and people kept expecting the worst of me. And they would put me in detention or just say I was a trouble kid. And then my family moved across country, and I went into another school where they supported me. And the minute I walked in, they said, "Oh my God, you're amazing. We like your grades. We're so happy you're here." And I remember looking up at my mom thinking, "What's this about?" And she said, "Just go with it." And I did. And it was the beginning of a really positive chapter in my life. What I learned from that experience was I could be something different. I could step into a new sort of version of myself. And I was able to do that because someone showed me that I could be something other than the troublemaker. And then I ended up getting like straight A's 2 years later. So just letting you know, anybody in your life that is in a dark place or is in a place of hopelessness, sometimes if we can show them the light, or if we step in and we sort of expect something better, and we don't give them the excuse of, "Oh, I can't do it," or "I didn't show up," whatever it was, that sort of, "I expect the best of you," can really lift them up. And it's not a pressure thing. It was just sort of welcome arms, open arms, and assuming at the beginning that I was good. I think this is something that's lacking in the world right now. We sometimes wake up and expect the worst because of just of various things, social media, news, whatever's going on. So in January in particular, for yourself and for others, have faith. Have faith in your capacity, have faith in the capacity of others. This is how we can shift the cosmic and planetary energy, which is something that your sign might be called to do. Different signs this month, not every sign, but some signs have a little bit of a planetary responsibility. And I think yours is to raise that frequency of having faith, trusting one another, and bringing it because we've had a sort of deficit of it over the past couple of years. Okay, so let's go ahead now and review everything that we talked about. And then I'm going to look at 2020 and we'll do a meditation after that. So as I said at the beginning, this is going to be a really important month for you to have done some of the legwork, the homework, to get everything ready. Prepare for what you want and then move forward with a sense of certainty and self-confidence. That self-confidence will be an attractive force for you. A lot of quick, rapid movement going on for you this month. I'm excited because that means that change is happening. And we saw for many of you, this can mean an abundance of new clients, new friends, new activities in your life. All you have to do is make sure that you're not overdoing it. And I think that this is going to be some really positive energy that's going to touch everything this month. The Magician at the center, you have the power. That's basically what this is. It's a card of empowerment and manifestation. Stay focused. Really pick one or two things that you want to put your energy into and know that you'll be able to start to create that. Having a roadmap is important. We see the constellation that this particular sort of shaman is creating above them. So make the roadmap and stick to it and know that this is going to be your key to success. Money is good in this month. We have the Prince of Pentacles coming through. So this means that if you've been in a place of need, or if it hasn't been quite working out the way that you want, I feel like with a few changes on your sort of like mental, I would say your focus and also maybe some of your habits, that we have the Prince of Pentacles energy coming through, which is going to open everything up. One of the things that you can do is focus on yourself and not get too distracted by friends, family, and coworkers. Staying within your lane is essential. Two of Cups, very attractive energy when it comes to all relationships this month. Whether it's love, family, or work, you can use that energy to really have some fun and be productive as well. Things will move quickly. We actually have the word swiftness on this Eight of Wands, and we have the gazelle right by it. So be prepared for that. And again, know what it is that you want to put that energy into. You get to choose. We see that. So that discernment is just as important as all the opportunities flying at you. In fact, you may choose to only focus on 2 or 3, and that's what we saw with the Three of Wands there. Risk, movement, change, it's happening this month. You get to choose when and how much, but just embrace that when appropriate. The Fool card also says, be mindful of yourself and your actual physical movement on this planet. If you're kind of distracted and not fully present, that could create some challenges. In the environment, Princess of Swords reversed. Avoid any of the arguments that might be coming through with all of these swords cards connected. The Princess of Swords is also about being direct. I didn't mention that earlier. So one of your key challenges and also opportunities is just saying no, because we have these two side by side. So reverse is just saying be direct, be to the point. Sometimes put that line in the sand and say, this isn't right for me, or this isn't right, full stop. And that's going to be possibly the healthiest thing that you could do. Two of Swords, make a decision, stick with it. Don't sit in fear and doubt. You know what to do. It's okay. And finally, Ten of Swords reverse. Listen to your body, take care of it, heal yourself, don't overdo it. I really think this is really a matter of you just being mindful of where you move in time and space, how much time and energy you invest in things, and then to really just kind of embrace this feeling that I've got this, I can keep moving through it, not getting stuck in any one place. Getting outside is important. Changing your routine is important, and we saw that in health. Looking at the positive is also important. There's a lot going on around this person, and they're choosing to focus on positive energy. When it comes to work, if there's something toxic, move away from it. If you need to say no and create a boundary, do it. And most importantly, don't focus on the negative. Focus on what you can create. That's going to be essential to creation. Understanding yourself, understanding others. Very, very important to create harmony within relationships. If someone doesn't understand you, it might be time to move on. And if you want to kind of set a good example, you can just show that listening is going to, or I would say you could show by listening, and by keeping that open heart, open mind, you're going to probably be able to resolve or avoid some of the stuff that we saw here with the Two of Swords and Ten of Swords. Finally, faith. We talked at great length about sort of one of your planetary opportunities this month, which is to restore your faith and restore others, and to also show someone that they can be something more than they are. And it's not in a way that is bossy or even sort of overly positive. It's just painting a picture of opportunity. That person always gets to decide if they want to step into the light, but at least show them the light, right? So let's go ahead now and expand the forecast. We're going to look at the 4 different quarters of the year. We'll start with January, February, and March, and this is going to be for all of 2020 for your sign in particular, for Capricorn. So let me shuffle the cards, and I'll pull up each one as I do this. Let's look at the first quarter of the year. See what's going through. Okay, 5 of Cups. I think for many of you, this is a period of time when you're going to have to choose between the past and the future. And when we look at the 5 of Cups, it really is the nexus between the two. A lot of times, I'll see if I can pull it closer. In this particular deck, you see the cups are kind of floating away. Sometimes the water or the wine has kind of spilled out. And for some of us, we will look at that and we'll think, you know, look at how much I've put into this. Am I getting back what I need? Or have I wasted time? My perspective on life is nothing is a wasted opportunity if you've learned something from it. So if you've invested a lot of time in a relationship and you decide to walk away because we had the Fool, then you still learn something from it. You won't repeat that. And so in effect, you just decided to take a little bit more time to integrate the lesson. If there's a job and you've spent a long time and you're not where you want to be, but now you've decided I'm going to do something better for myself, I'm going to start a business, get a new job, because we got that Prince of Pentacles at the center, then it's okay. You're ready now. I think really what the 5 of Cups for you is about knowing that you weren't ready before, but you are ready now. And once you celebrate that sort of readiness, which also goes hand in hand with preparation, then guess what? Things open up in a really big way for you. So think, who cares about the past? I can make up for time. Why? Because I'm the magician. I create my own destiny. So that's what you start to think now is time can speed up. Opportunities can come faster. I'm not in that old mode of thinking. We're starting a new decade after all. And you guys have been with me for half a decade, many of you. So you've integrated all the lessons that you need. So let's make the next 5 years amazing and see what that's going to be. Time is going to speed up, and that's really what this is saying. Be ready for that. So over January, February, and March, expect positive changes. Expect that the change to happen faster, and do your best to be the gazelle here and keep up with those changes. Mostly the 5 of Cups for me is an opportunity to embrace better days ahead. So whatever challenges you've had, they were there to teach, but they don't have to be anymore. And what we can do in the meditation is kind of dismiss some of that and just we'll extend gratitude for anything that you needed to learn and allow for better stuff to come through. Indeed, you are the magician. I just saw that in the comment. It's a good meditation. Basically, you're able to manifest. You always are. Your thoughts always are, right? We're going to look at April, May, and June next. Ace of Cups. Now, it's reversed, but we've got the Ace of Cups, which I like. So now the main focus on the next quarter is, are you happy? Am I happy is what you'll be asking yourself. As you kind of look at each thing in your life, you want to weigh it out to think, how is this serving me and others? Is this something that is productive? Is this something that's healing? Is this something that is creative? Those are all the different energies of this. And also, since many of you might be entering into a new relationship, new love, or you might be deciding to put a little bit more focus in some sort of pivotal relationship, how can I bring balance to these relationships? That would be your question in that second quarter of the year, because you have the potential to have the Ace of Cups upright. I don't worry when I see an ace reversed or if I see like the Four of Wands reversed, because those are really positive cards. It's all about kind of getting into the energy. So how you feel is especially important in that second period. And Capricorn, you're very practical, you're very successful, but sometimes the energy of kind of emotions can be scary. So I want you to embrace this as a way to become even more of all of the good things that you create in your life. It will increase your success and your fulfillment, and that's why it's going to be really positive. All right, so we're going to look now at July, August, and September. Yeah, okay, this is great. We have the Six of Wands. I'm not worried that most of these are reversed here because there's a little bit of a hesitation, as I mentioned at the beginning, that certainty or uncertainty. So that's all we're seeing with this. But the Six of Wands is a fabulous card. This is showing success, recognition, and acclaim. The reversal of this card is important. And I read reversals, by the way, for a reason. It's like, why would I stop the alphabet halfway through? When it's reversed, it gives me a nuance. So the reversal of the Six of Wands is basically encouraging you not to live your life for others, not to put too much energy into their approval or into trying to create something to be successful or to be accepted by them. So for those of you that happen to be in business or an expressive or creative art form, this is about staying true to the vision of what it is you're trying to do, not to sort of sometimes like decisions by committee can take that away. So if you're in a company or a family where a bunch of people are weighing in, and sometimes it's like a game of telephone, the original idea no longer represents what it originally was. So this is about getting back to basics, staying true to yourself, and trusting what you already know. Again, that core magician energy. Keep your passion intact, and then know that the success will happen because you believe in it. If we turn these cards upright, your joy, your passion, your certainty brings about the success. Your doubt will make people doubt it. So there you go. It's really about tuning in, not having all of the sort of chatter around you take you off that point. And yes, to answer your question, we're in the full reading at this point. All right, so we're going to be now looking at October, November, and December. This is the last quarter of 2020. Any of you that joined late, you can watch this on the replay, by the way. And since my main moderator isn't here, I'll be posting links at the end, so just stick around. All right, so for the final card for the last 3 quarters of the year, Five of Swords. This is about really making an attempt in your life to walk away from anybody that doesn't understand you, about not getting involved in petty arguments, disagreements, or no-win situations. You've created this really positive momentum. The interesting thing for many of you, and you'll see this in your life, is that when you achieve success, there are naysayers that will come in and somehow try to steal some of the light or pull you off course. So the Five of Swords is saying it's okay. That actually is a sign for many of you that you're on the right track. As contradictory as that may seem, the core energy of the year for you with the Ace of Cups and the Six of Wands shows me positive trajectory, acceptance, and for many of you, acclaim. And with that will come scrutiny. And when I was looking at you kind of going through the finish line in the meditation, it almost felt like for some of you, there would be an inquisition or questions, or people sometimes want to know, how did you get there? So it could just be curiosity. Whatever's going on, stay firm to that sense of, you know, why you did something, that you're on the right track, and then maybe just start to focus on the next big thing. Otherwise, you'll worry about a lot of unnecessary chatter in your life that's not going to necessarily bring you forward. And what we see here also, I normally would see this in like the Seven of Swords, but you see this person here on the ground that you can't really sort of engage with. So if there's someone in your life that's kind of given up on you, or they're giving up in general on sort of working together or something like that, this card is saying, let that be as well. The Fool card energy can kind of be stretched all the way to the end of the year, which is risk, movement, change. And for some of you, that's walking away from people as well. So I really like the energy this month, or this year rather. As we're looking at 2020, it begins with a sense of forgiving yourself for anything that didn't go the way you want, knowing that timing can be adjusted because you are the magician and you have the power to change that. Just start to expect that things will happen more rapidly. I've done that in my life. It works. So just expect money, work, love, and opportunities, abundance basically, to start flowing a lot faster. So that's January, February, March, April, May, and June. Start to use this Cups card as your kind of like your scales. I was talking in the chat earlier that 2020 is about balance, right? So balancing out passion is going to be really important in that second quarter. Does it work for me? Does it work for others? Am I happy? Is this helping relationships? That's going to be important. Then you find the balance and you find the acclaim coming through in the third quarter of the year. And with that, there might be some challenges, or someone may reveal their true colors and suddenly you see them for who they are, and they may not be an advocate, and that's okay, because that's going to help you find someone better in your life as well. Everything happens for a reason, and have faith in that, and everything should be okay. All right, let's go ahead now and do a meditation. This is possibly one of my favorite parts of doing a live reading, because I don't know if you guys know this, but whenever you sort of meditate in a group, it's almost as if everybody plugs into a collective sort of flow of energy, and you can go much higher, much further, and create much more of an impact with the meditation. So we're going to do that right now. And I think there are a few things that I'm picking up on as I look at each of these, because I like to tailor the meditations for each sign. One of the things is to kind of like help you keep up with the pacing of January and the year ahead as well. So we'll focus on pacing. We'll focus on control, the ability to create, to manifest, to shift things that maybe weren't moving the way that you want, and creating that as well. And then I think having faith that it's all going to be okay. So that some of the energy that we saw here around other people maybe not understanding you, it's not going to bother you if you know who you are. And that you know that to be successful means to be sometimes provocative, or to have people not always understand you. That means that you're touching everybody. And as light workers, you're always going to have also shadow energy out there that's trying to kind of like crack at the at your foundation. So you want to build a firm foundation. So go ahead and get comfortable. For those of you that are obviously at work, driving, walking, you can listen to this portion on the replay. But if you have a chance to meditate with me now, please do that. All right, so close your eyes. And I really liked what I saw with the kind of nocturnal energy of the Magician card, the starry sky. So, and I like that it's also on a beach. So let's use that. Imagine that you are on a beautiful beach. It's a nice warm night. The sun has just gone down in the sky. So whenever you watch the, kind of a sunset, for maybe 10 or 15 minutes after it's gone down, the sky has this beautiful shade of kind of magenta, midnight blue, and you can then start to see the blackness above. So you have a nice sort of gradient of tonality. So as you're watching the light still in the sky, the stars are starting to come through. You find a nice place on the beach to kind of lay back and look at the stars. As you're doing this, just like a kid would kind of create a snow angel, I want you to put your hands around you and create a circle in the sand that's going to create safety and also a containment for your energy as we do this meditation. And it's just like what we saw here with the Magician card. This is going to be your sort of cosmic map that we're creating underneath you. So as you've created that circle, I want you to close your eyes and imagine that the circle comes to life. It lights up. There's this beautiful circle of light, and then it starts to create a sphere around you. It's three-dimensional. So you're basically in this sphere, or this sort of like globe of light. And while you're in this, I want you to start to feel that your heart space is opening up, is starting to respond to the light around you. So now you have this sphere in your heart, this circle around you, and then as you take a nice deep breath, you see the entire thing light up. Feeling in this moment that you are as bright as any of the stars in the sky, and you are capable of the energy of organization, creation that would be inherent to any star in the universe. Think about what your galaxy, what your universe is going to look like over the course of 2020. What opportunities are you going to call into your sky? What things are you going to create in your cosmic map? Start to see them lighting up one by one. And I want you to feel a sense of ownership and readiness for each of these. If anybody comes across your path and makes you doubt yourself, just shine a little bit brighter and point up to the constellation that is you, and really show them you know who you are, you know where this is going. And just like those constellations, you're going to always be there. I want you to feel that sense of confidence, of sustaining energy, and really the light that you have within you. You want to bring that forward. Now, moving from the heart into sort of a more abstract energy, I want you to feel the energy of faith. And maybe some of you have lost faith or haven't really experienced that. So I'm going to try to kind of help you with that. I'll start by just simply saying that I believe in you, something that was important that I heard as a child. So I want you to know, each and every one of you out there, I believe that you can make a difference. I believe that you can make progress towards your goals. And I believe in your capacity to improve, to be brighter, to be happier than you are now. We always have that capacity to go further than we expect. So don't be limited by your expectations, by old sort of ways of thinking that your family may be pushed on you, or even by a present boss, friend, or someone in your life that just really is standing there blocking your way. See your potential, know that I see your potential, and allow that to be your North Star, your guiding light, your constellation in 2020. Let's take a really deep breath, and I want you to feel this sense of lightness in your step, in your body, in your energy, that we're basically taking a weight off your shoulders. You can do this. That's really what I want you to have as a mantra. You can do this. You are the creator. You are the magician. Anything is possible as long as you allow for that dream, that hope to be there. Nice deep breath. Inhale. On this exhale, really let go of anybody's fear, doubt, or uncertainty that they've pushed into your life. You can repeat that a few times if you'd like. Really breathing in, really pushing away the fear, doubt, and uncertainty. Let your breathing return to normal. Allow all that's left is the faith, the hope, and the sense of I can, I will, I am to remain. Some of you may feel like your energy kind of went above your body. If that's the case, allow it for your energetic self to kind of come back into your body like a feather landing into this physical vehicle that we use to kind of walk our way through the planet. And I want you to keep that lightness of a feather. Think that you are as light as a feather. You're able to work through your day without feeling any sort of heavy energy, any sort of fear, any sort of doubt. Before you open your eyes, I want you to take your hands, rub them together, put your left hand on your heart, your right hand on top of that, and really take a moment to just honor yourself for showing up. Send a blessing to yourself and to others as well. Let's try to allow each and everybody to be the best that they can be. Have faith in yourself, have faith in others. Open your eyes when you're ready. That felt good. I hope that many of you felt that sense of lightness of being, not just like brightness and lightness, but also levity, the ability to feel an opening and a sort of lighter energy in your space, because that's some of what I saw with this health card, was just to start to pull in the light around you. It's not always going to be rainbows. A lot of days we have challenges, but it's important to really be able to pull ourselves back into that. This meditation, as is the case with all of mine, will be available, and it's something that I might do from month to month. I try to do unique ones. We never know where it's going to go, so you can always replay this. It'll be there as a free resource for you. I'd like to take one moment here to thank Maria for stepping in, and I also want to acknowledge anybody that's given me a super chat. So let me just scan through this, and I'm going to try to catch them. If I miss anybody, just know that I appreciate it, and I will see it later when I scan through the chat. So thank you, Becca. I appreciate the cute little sticker you sent as well. Much appreciated. And let's see if there's anyone else. I think I saw at least one other one, so I want to make sure I don't miss anybody. Let's see, that might be it. Okay, and thank you, Jojo. I know you showed up earlier, and I appreciated that, and it was nice chatting with you as well before we got started. So I think that was everybody. So thank you, and if anybody does it later in advance, I'd just like to say I appreciate that. Let me talk a little bit about how you can connect with me, since my normal moderator isn't here and I can't paste it out. I'll do this at the end, so you'll see me putting this out at the very end. But my website is nicholasashbaugh.com. You can pause this. Again, I'll put the link there myself later. This contains all the links to everything, so there you go if you want that. Please follow me on social media, because one thing that I will do on social media is I will put a story up on Instagram and Facebook, and also I will tweet out reminders of when the videos are coming, so it's a great way to keep in the loop. So Instagram, it's my first name with an underscore in my last name, so Nicholas_Ashbaugh. And on YouTube, Facebook, and also Patreon, it's all just my name. And Patreon is a great way to do a monthly contribution. You can also click the join button here on YouTube. And one thing that I'm going to do for both Patreon and YouTube supporters is I will try to put a digital version of my newsletter. And if I do another Q&A in the future, I'll give you first access to making sure that your questions are answered. My Twitter handle is first initial, last name, and Ashbaugh. And if you just want to go straight to PayPal, I know some of you are busy, you can just do paypal.me and /my name. I'll take a moment here as I start to wrap up and paste all of those there. I want to also just say before I do any of that business stuff, thank you so much for showing up, for working on yourself, for being with me for the past 5 or so years. If you decide to share this with others, thank you for sharing this light and this resource. That's something that means a lot. Like and subscribe and opt into notifications if you haven't already as well, because now more than ever, it's important to know if I go live. You're only going to get that if you click the bell button as well. So yeah, have a great holiday season, a great end of the decade. We're going to be starting a new decade, which is super exciting. So have faith in yourself, have faith in others. Much love and light. I'm going to take a second here, and I'm going to post the schedule here. This will be a way that you can look at the last couple of readings and get the links to that. Thank you, Quinn, by the way. If you want to become a patron, here's the link to become a patron. That also includes the links to PayPal and to Patreon, so you can use that. And if you would like to join me across the different social media platforms, that's how you can join me on all of those. So I believe that's everything. You should already have my YouTube information, so there you go. Again, much love and light. Sorry we had someone acting up earlier. I have received a bunch of moderator applications. You can also apply to be a moderator. I'm looking for people that have previous experience only, but I'll put that link here as well, since we saw someone that was spamming some stuff earlier. So if you have moderated for other YouTubers and are interested, you can fill out a form. I have to go through all of those. I'll do that this weekend. I've been focusing on making sure all of these live streams were here. So there's a moderation application as well. So take care of yourselves. Have a great new year. And I'll see you again in January as we look at February, because we're ahead of things now. So this is awesome. Take care. Bye-bye.